And it's been amazing when you have these pre-conferences and when you have these post-conferences, the teachers are really, they're digging out the rubrics now. And they're like, okay, so if I'm here and I really want to get to accomplish or distinguish because I really want to increase my score, what does that look like? And so you see the impact in the classroom with, the student success and the student overall growth. And isn't TIA all about student growth? So overall, the effect on instruction has been really strong because you're seeing the growth.
And in speaking to some of these teachers, one of the good things that they tell me is that they're able to see the growth. They're like, we know that because we have been recognized in this manner, they really work to maintain it. And I think there's a little bit of pride that comes in from having it. And so because of that, they say that the greatest thing that they get to see as a teacher, as an educator, is that they see the kids where they come in and putting things in place for them. They're able to see that growth. And at the end of the day, that's really what it's for. And to me, I see it as a reward for all that hard work that they are doing and helping those kiddos grow.
Well, we've always had amazing educators, so the quality of our educator has always been strong. What I've noticed is that our teachers are very specifically wanting to improve in areas that they might have accepted if they were close to one designation or another. But now they're challenging themselves to become even better. So we see that directly reflected on the rigor and student-centered learning that we're providing in the classroom. It's made for our learning environment to be even better. I love that question because we're always looking at how to be the best we can be. And this not only gives that personal drive, which our teachers do exemplary well at, but it gives a monetary endorsement for getting to levels that teachers might not have been at in the past. So even though they're all excellent, now they really would love to be all distinguished. Not just because of the monetary benefit, but there is something to be said about achieving that level of excellence, not just for themselves, but for the campus.
Well, I know here on our campus, and it's not just a campus expectation, but a district expectation, is that we are data driven. And I think TIA lends itself, it gives us that lens that we bring in our student work, we have those conversations, and those conversations are surrounded based on the data and how these kiddos are doing week to week. Also how they're doing at the end of the 6 weeks, and then also how did they do the previous year to this year. We look at student work, we model for them, and we look and see what are best practices in supporting the kiddos, and then we strategically make it for our campus.
And so we were talking about TIA in our PLC because we were talking about, roster verifications, and we were talking about student growth and what that looks like, and we were talking about the alignment actually of the TIA benchmarks versus the curriculum alignment and what they're doing in the classroom. And, you hear the teachers talk about how they're exhausted and they're tired, but yet they're pushing forward and they're moving hard because of the payout. And not to say that the payout is motivation, because I want to clarify with my teachers that they're not saying that money is the motivating factor. But it helps when you have burnout, because in our career, they feel like they're not paid as much. And so you see them take on winter jobs at Kohl's, at Macy's. And they were just talking about how this year there's a teacher that doesn't have to work a part-time job because she's getting TIA payout. And when you see that light in that teacher and them light up about that, that says a lot.
It's given me, and I say me, the district, the ability to really recognize those teachers that just do an amazing job. Prior to TIA, my positive affirmation and tell them that they are a great teacher, a teacher of the year nomination or recognition. We know that it's, many times education is a very, not is respected or as you don't get that positive praise, many times. And so this now gives us a way to formally recognize, the greatness of teachers. for a teacher to be able to receive, their compensation, as soon as school lets out in June, I mean, that can be life-changing for a family. The vacation you've always wanted to take, the vehicle, all the things that, teachers normally budget, paycheck to paycheck, kind of, this is my salary, this is what I get paid. My earning potential is kind of capped. Well, now there's this new, funding source that is available, and that can be life-changing for a family.
In one of the PLC conversations we were having, the teacher said, her student growth, she's really honing in and looking granular into her students and very specific skills and how she can do that and what can she do to get them there. So I would say the benefits is just that granular look on behalf of the teachers. They're putting in that they want to do tutoring, they want to do Saturday Quest, and they want to do it because they want to see the growth of the students. So that's definitely a benefit.
The opportunity for recognition and additional compensation has encouraged staff to be more reflective about their practice, engage more in intentionality with coaching, and staying focused on student growth.
Well, now everybody wants Domain 4. In the past, there were strengths and weaknesses that people would acknowledge and say, well, maybe that's just not me, or maybe I am okay with not contributing to that domain. But now everyone wants an opportunity to be their best and to do their best. So I see a lot more evidence with Domain 4 because everyone wants to achieve a higher level. Because of TIA, but as I said, it really contributes to the environment on campus for folks really pushing themselves and wanting to achieve their personal best.
Good afternoon. I'm super excited today to be here at Cullen Place Elementary School and be in the actual honor of being with and in the presence of Mrs. Karina Casares, who is a 5th grade teacher here at Cullen Place. But talk to us about the implications that TIA had when we first rolled it out and what that meant for you as a teacher.
So definitely what we want to do, if for a teacher who's trying to get TIA, it's really knowing your students. And it all begins with data. Everything we do is, we hear that word all the time, data, but it is very important because you can't move the needle with students. You can't help them grow without fully understanding what their needs are.
So if you want to talk about some things to consider, I would say for TEA to consider having alignment. And what I mean by that is, as educators, we all have our people that we call on and we talk to other districts, and there's not a specific alignment as far as the student growth component benchmark. Right. So in our district, we use MClass, we use NWA, we use MAP. Other districts, they use STAR data. There are some districts that have students write an essay. So there's not an alignment. And you feel, or teachers sometimes feel like, I'm trying really hard, I'm working really hard, I'm making a difference, and I know I am because it shows in my student scores. However, my friend who works so-and-so, their senior for English, all they had to do is write an English essay, and that's how they got scored on a rubric. So TEA, things to consider, we're asking across the state of Texas from teachers, mouths themselves, is alignment.
I think that if there was a universal platform, if we're thinking down the road in terms of what would be, best practice, a universal platform to measure student growth that would encompass all content areas, just to really have that, what may be perceived as inequality, to really have that equality there, I think would be beneficial down the road. And I also do think that the continued exploration of compensating administrators, I think, is really, really important to us. It has changed our job, not in a bad way, but the number of observations that we are doing has increased dramatically. And my administrative team is working extremely hard, because we definitely do not want to be the reason why somebody would not be eligible to receive it based on not meeting a deadline or within a window. And so I think, the administrators are also working. They're a very large part of this process, and I would really love to see them, for districts to be able to really consider, compensating great administrators as we do teachers.
Well, I think one of the greatest things that I see with it is it's keeping teachers in the classrooms longer. I know a lot of times, we talk to TRS and we try to find out, when is my retirement day coming? But I've also seen a lot of teachers that continue to go on. And the great thing about that is they're veteran teachers, and those veteran teachers are helping mold our new teachers that are coming in. They're staying in the trenches a little bit longer. And I think that it works together as a whole team to kind of teach that new group that's coming in.
So good, right? So good. Turning over that training and sharing that wealth of knowledge. Yeah. Awesome.
I think TIA is a great program. There's, teachers every day, this is what we want to do. We obviously don't do it for the money, but I will say, I am grateful because this money has definitely been a big help. And so I think it's a positive. And I just think that as long as we ensure that we're not creating barriers for teachers not to be able to receive the allotment, and, just ensuring that all campuses and everyone is just providing the same supports and the same expectations. That way everyone has the opportunity to receive it. I think it's a great program, as long as we all implement it the same. Yeah.
One of the things that our district did so right at the beginning was to consider all groups and how we can involve as many people in the TIA process as possible. That being said, I think now that we've learned about the management of TIA and about all of the groups that it entails, continuing to build out that possibility, perhaps through the TEA grant for TIA, in a way that acknowledges contributions that may not be as easy to be defined as others would be great. For example, our librarians do an incredible job helping towards student achievement, not just in the classroom, but school-wide. It would be great to see them be compensated in some fashion. Whether or not it looks just like classroom TIA or not remains to be seen. But in some fashion, as do others who contribute to the bottom line for our students, because everyone's an important part of student achievement. And we would like to see as many people recognized as possible.